Oh, it's just a dream. A nightmare. Anyway. No. No. Guys, I've got to come clean. I suffer from a crippling and debilitating illness, and that is known as eating your own words syndrome. I'm going to put it here on the screen. 2 years ago, on record, that I would never own one of these things. It's time to reveal my brand new build, the GQ Patrol. Just kidding, I would never. Yet here we are in the unfortunate situation. We're going to talk about that today. I never thought I'd own one, drive one, or even film with one, yet I've got one under my left elbow. Now, this was never the plan, but sometimes you just got to roll with the punches and put your entire foot in your own bloody mouth.
What did he say?
This thing popped up for sale about 4 months ago. One owner, all original, freaking immaculate, perfect for me to absolutely ruin and bastardize. So I've been sitting on it, waiting patiently for the right time. There's no time like the present. So, introducing the new project car for the channel, my 1993 GQ Patrol TI. This right here is a 1993 Nissan GQ Patrol TI. I've got no idea what the TI stands for, other than I think this is the top spec model that we got in the early 90s. But what sets it apart TI-wise, interior and exterior wise, there's a couple of really obvious things, so let's talk about it. For starters, these plastic moldings that go from the front quarter right through to the rear quarters and all along the doors. Very rare to find them actually still attached to the vehicle and in good condition, not cracked. So that is really nice to see. And I guess it sort of is obvious that this car was at some point in its life loved, certainly before I got it at least. You've also got some cool things. These really quite ugly factory alloy tri-spokes. Look, it's cool that it's got them. Can't wait to put them in the bin. The other thing that I really love about GQs, and I know it's an option on the TIs and probably is on other models, is these extra wide sort of plastic guard sections or the flares. The really cool thing about Patrols is that they're actually quite a small cab, a lot smaller than an 80 series, but then you've got a metal guard, the metal flare, and then that extra plastic flare, which means from the front and the back, these things look so freaking wide. I think partnered with the right suspension, wheel and tire combo, they can look really, really staunch. Now there are a couple of other features in the TI that make this thing that extra little bit luxurious. Inside, we've got cruise control, electric windows, electric mirrors. You've got a whole bunch of things that do set it apart from the lower spec models of the same year. You're probably wondering, gearbox and engine, well, what's hiding under here? So, let's talk about it. Okay, now there's a couple of engines that could be hiding under here. These had RB30s, TB42s, and TD42s in them, and we have lucked out with the worst one to have, TB42E. Yeah, pretty average, but we've got plans. Let me run you through them. Now, for people that don't know, these things are a 4.2 inline six petrol engine. They are garbage, they're terrible, they sound, and they have no power. This, however, I think this is another TI feature, I'm not sure. This is the electronically fuel injected one. These were originally, at least in the 88, 89, 90 models, I think, carbureted. So look, we've got that going for us. This thing was sold to me not running, so that was kind of helpful, but with a little bit of wire jiggling, we got it running, not well and extremely smokily, but at least it now runs and drives a little bit. We've got plans for in here. This, as it sits, is an extremely busy, extremely ugly engine bay, and I think we can do a lot to make it better in just about every aspect, but you're gonna have to wait and stay tuned for that. I don't want to talk to it just yet, but let's jump inside, we'll show you the interior, and then we'll run you through some of the other plans that we do have for this build. This is like rather expensive show and tell in here. The interior of a GQ, it's square, it's boxy, it's agricultural, it works. It stinks like Centrelink in here, but that's fine. I'm sure with enough Chemical Guys air fresheners, we can get that out of here. Before I dive into some more interior features, TI features, and we start chatting about plans, I want you guys to guess in the comments below how much you think I paid for this car. 93 TI GQ, one owner, all original, immaculate, 480,000 Ks. How much do you reckon I paid? Drop it in the comments below. Anyway, let's talk about the cabin in here. 5-speed manual made it up to that TB42. Will it be going in the bin? Will it be getting a turbo? You're gonna have to wait and find out. Inside this thing is gorgeous. It's immaculate. Everything works. The clock still works. The aircon still works. The TIs have got such cool features. Electronic aerial antenna. You got in-cab sway bar disconnect from right here. There's a lever. Maybe Toyota wasn't as ahead of the game as I thought they might have been once upon a time. Everything is just so nice. It's an uncracked dash. There hasn't been a million holes and, things drilled in here and, UHFs tech screwed into things. It's just such a nice, blank, clean, straight canvas. Much like what we started with the 80 series 2 years ago. One thing that I don't like about this car, and I'll be completely transparent with you, is that the original owner at some point has converted it to gas, which is house. So all of that I think has to go at the very minimum. In terms of plans in here, well, we've got many. You're gonna have to wait until a future episode to find out exactly what they are. I reckon that's enough waffling. Let's jump to the front of this car. I wanna run you through some of the plans that we have for this build, because think 80 series, turn it down a couple of clicks, and that's sort of what we're aiming for this thing. I want this to be the straightest, cleanest, toughest, most practical GQ in Australia. We don't do shit by halves on this channel. Let's talk about what we got planned. Now, the plans for this build are pretty straightforward. We are gonna set out to create one of the tidiest, toughest, most practical, most capable tough weekend as we can, whilst keeping it 100% legal. The 80 series, we pushed the envelope in terms of what was possible power, suspension, legality, and engineering wise. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's caught us out a few times and made the past 12 months extremely difficult, but most importantly, extremely expensive. So with this car, we're gonna kind of split the difference. The Sierra, the Raptor, that is our happy, everyday, under the radar car. The 80 series, it's never gonna be good for touring. It's never gonna be doing, really long trips, but it's fantastic at wheeling. The 79 series, not gonna ever be good at wheeling, but fantastic for really big base camp style trips. This is gonna fill the void. This is gonna be tough at wheeling, great for weekends or a couple of nights away, comfortable, but most importantly, we're gonna be able to tour and live out of this a little bit whilst driving some of the toughest shit in Australia. Planning wise, I don't want to reveal too much, but we are going to be changing pretty much everything front to back. We're going to be doing some very major driveline upgrades and modifications. We're going to be replacing a whole bunch of stuff. We're still not sold on what we're going to do with the engine though. I need you guys to drop a comment on this episode. Do you want to see us turbo the TB and see what we can make out of it? Or do you want us to engine swap it? And if so, what do you guys want to see? I think this is going to be a low wide car. It's going to be completely legal. We're going to be working with some brand new brands as well that are market leaders and based here in Australia, which I'm really, really excited about, because obviously not being a Nissan guy, I need all the help I can freaking get. Plus, if you guys have any tips and tricks or advice for me on owning my first ever Nissan, especially my first ever GQ, please do let me know. Feel free to reach out, shoot me a DM, give me that advice, or drop it in the comments of this episode, because I am honestly going to need all the help I can get, because I am so out of my comfort zone, it's not even funny, but I'm excited to learn along the way. Hopefully this build takes place over the next couple of months and we can get straight back out there early next year and wheel the thing finished, but we all know how these projects go. So if you want to help me, feel free to subscribe, drop a comment, share this around to your mates. Make sure you tune in next week, because we're about to dive in. We're going to bite off more than we can chew, but we're going to chew like hell. Anyway, see you next Thursday.